So, we have done the introduction of the chapter, The Healing Touch. This is your English Lit classes. Welcome, class 8. So, before beginning any chapter, as we always talk about that, who has written that? The author of this chapter is Sumadhi Sudhakar. Turn to page number 37 of your book, and when the chapter ends, you can see this name written over there, Sumadhi Sudhakar. Okay? She is a writer who has written stories for many age groups. So what are the characteristics? She writes for many age groups. And her dramatic and powerful stories are widely appreciated by readers. So what are the main characteristics of her writing? Her writings are dramatic. Dramatic means they consist of drama, and they are powerful. Powerful means they hammer on your heart. They work on the emotional level. So when the word dramatic comes in your mind, we know the opposite is something where there is no drama. Means you can see the poem It Couldn't Be Done, that was not a dramatic poem. Why? Because there were no so many characters. There were only two characters who were doing some motivational work. So that was not dramatic. But here this is dramatic. Dramatic means there will be many characters. There will be drama. And there will be so many more things that will make it just like a drama. Okay? You know what a drama is? So that will be in the written form. A drama works in stage, but here when we are reading the book, we get this drama in written form. Okay? So this is a dramatic story. So the thing which you can enact on the stage, that thing only you will get in the written format. Okay? Next, it's powerful. Powerful means something which is very emotional, which has a lot of connectivity to the social world. Okay, so it will teach us something. What will it do? It will teach us something. Okay, so that is powerful. It's not something very light. What it is not? It is not light. Okay, it is not light. It is powerful. So it will give you a message, a strong message. Nothing light is over there. Okay. So these are the main characteristics of this author, Sumadhi Sudhakar, and you will see these two characteristics in this story also. Now we will see the explanation. For the explanation, open your book and go to page number 34. Page number 34. The story begins by saying that Shanta put down her basket of berries and peered around in the darkness of her heart. Okay? So, what we get here? We get the main character, Shanta. We are getting here the Shanta. Shanta put down her basket of berries and peered around. So, we are getting a new word over here. What is the new word? The new word is P, 2E, R, peer, and an ED added to it to make it a past tense. So, the word is peer and an ED is added. So what is the new word we are getting? We are getting this new word Peered means when you look at someone with difficulty. Okay. So, what did Shanta do? Shanta looked at someone with difficulty. Now, who is that someone? We will see. So, where is Shanta now? Where is Shanta now? In the hut. And what is she doing? She just put down her basket. She put down her basket and peered around the darkness of the hut. So these are the two questions that arises from the first line, and after that we know that what is the scenario, what is the present situation. The present situation is that Shanta is in her hut and she put down her basket and she peered, and the basket was having berries. Okay, what type of a berries, which color berries, nothing is mentioned. So here we are getting these 3 points. Next, her mother lay on the floor. So after Shanta, we are getting Shanta's mother. So what happens? Her mother lay on the floor. Where is she lying? On the floor. And she was twitching in fever. What is the condition? Her condition is that she is suffering from fever. She is twitching in fever and great pain. So Shanta is in her hut and her mother is also in her hut. Her mother is in the floor and she is having fever and pain. Okay. Shanta touched her mother's forehead. It was so hot. So how do we know that she is having fever? Because her temperature was very hot. Her forehead was, what was her forehead? Forehead was hot, and from that we know that she is having fever. Who is having fever? Shanta's mother. Where is she lying? She is lying on the floor. Next, she withdrew her, it was so hot it burnt her tender palm. So Shanta touched her mother's head and forehead and she was suffering from fever. She, means Shanta, withdrew her hand sharply. Amma opened her eyes. So what do we call Shanta's mother? We call Shanta's mother Amma. Amma opened her eyes. Shanta, give me water. Now, in this condition, what is Shanta's mother asking? What is Shanta's mother asking in this condition? She is asking for water. Shanta, give me water. I am thirsty. Shanta ran to the pot. It was empty. So, what happened after that? Shanta ran to the pot. But the pot was empty. So this is the present condition. Shanta's mother was lying on the floor having fever, asked for water, but the pot was empty. Okay. Now, Shanta, I will fetch water from the well, she said, lifting the pot. Now, Shanta assured that I will fetch the water. You don't worry, Mama. I will fetch the water. Why? Because Shanta used to love her mother so much that she couldn't see her in pain. So Shanta, being an ordinary girl, we don't know of what age, we don't know what is the condition, but up till now we know that she is a small girl because she is not next. Shanta told that I will fetch them water. Now what the mother says? The mother says there is no water in our well. So, what is the condition? No water in our well. Who said this? Shanta's mother. Okay, Amma wished Amma whispered, coughing dryly. Asked someone for water. Shanta went out to the little hut and looked around. No one had returned home from work yet. Shanta bit her lips, frowning. So, what is the condition? There is no water in the well, so the mother told, go and ask for water to someone else. So, next what will happen? Someone else will have to give water. Okay, so why someone else will have to give water? Because there is no water in Shanta's well. So someone else will now come to the scene. Now we will see who is this someone else who will be giving the water. Okay, so someone else will have to give water now to Shanta's family because there is no water in the well and Shanta's mother needs some water because she is suffering from fever. So Shanta bit her lips, frowning. Frowning means two eyebrows are together and she is having a look of worried that how will I get the water when there is no water in our well and no one has even returned from work. Shanta was a tall girl with wavy hair which she wore in 2 plaits. Now it is telling that how Shanta looks. So now we get a physical description. Of whom? Of Shanta. Okay, so what is the physical description? Firstly, Shanta was a tall girl. She was a tall girl. She is not a woman, okay? She is a girl. That means she is small. What type of a hair she had? She had wavy hairs. Her hair is not straight, not ugly, but wavy. Next is what? Next is she wore this hair in 2 plaits. Okay, so in 2 plaits means two types of, here is a face and here is 1 plate and here is 1 plate. Now you know what is the meaning of 2 plates. Okay, this is Shanta, a tall girl, and she wears her hair like this. Okay, so 2 plates. This is a style. Plates, you can write it like this. It is a style where the hair is dissected into 2 parts and then tied up. Okay, so this is just a hairstyle. That much will be sufficient for you. So this is a physical description of Shanta, and this girl Shanta is living with her mother. Her mother is suffering from fever and she needs water and there is no water in the well, so someone else will have to give water to Shanta now. Now next portion. The sun was red, sinking tomato on the horizon. So the sun is compared to tomato. It gives such a visual effect when the sun is setting. It's said that no one has returned from work, so from that we know that it is evening, it is not any other time. So the sun's condition is like that it is appearing just like a red tomato when it is setting. Why? Because of the red color, which is just like the tomato. Okay, so next the cool sea breeze has set in. After the sun, we come to know that cool sea breeze. Okay, so I have told you that I will tell you about the location in the due course and I will teach you how to find out the location. So see, we have got sun, we have got cool sea breeze. So sea. So the word sea is here. So from this what we know? We know that this location of Shanta's hut is near the sea. So that means Shanta is an Indian name. So we all know that it's an Indian literature. And we know where is the sea over there in our map. here 3 portion. Oh, the upper portion there is no sea. In the peninsular India we get a sea over here and over here. So in these 3 places, so it can be beside the Arabian Sea, it can be beside the Bay of Bengal, or it can be beside the Indian Ocean. So these 3 positions can be there when talking about the location of the text. So we got this sea from here, we got this word. Okay, this is how you have to look into the lesson to find out about these bit of intricacies, this bit of things that will help you. Okay. So after the sea, what is next? What comes in the picture? It would soon be dark. Where would she go for water? Now Shanta is wearing, where would I go for water? Shanta and her family live in the settlement in the outskirts of Ayamkulam village. So this is a village. Name is Ayamkulam. Okay. Okay. So no village with this name exists in India, at least not in my knowledge. There can be something a bit of a minor position, but what I can tell you from this, that this is a South Indian name. So this is not something, not a name where it is in northern India or where it is in eastern India or anywhere else. Instead, it's a South Indian name. Kulam. This word is generally used in South India, and I am also, this word is generally used in South India. So this is a South Indian name. Okay. So in UP, you know how our names are, like Vrindavan, like Rajasthan. Those names are different, as I have told you. Okay. But this type of things you can see in Kerala also. There are villages which has this type of portion in their name. Okay, suffix like Kulam. This type of name, things in the name, you can see in Kerala we have this type of villages. So you can Google and find out this name. You will find similar name to this in Kerala. Okay. So from this we know that the location of this village is South India, and we have seen already the sea. So now we know the location is South India. Next, what happens? Shanta and her family lived in the outskirts. Outskirt means outside the village. If the locality is here, the village, if this is here, then beyond the boundary, Shanta's house was there. Okay. Outskirt means not within the village locality but outside the village. Okay. So that means the outskirt. Out means out from this locality, from this posh area, outside. Okay. So why they used to live outside, you know? Because in previous time it was not allowed for every caste to live together. So what happens? Higher castes used to live inside, and those lower caste who were considered to be untouchable, so that they don't touch the higher caste, so they used to live outside. Okay, so that is the difference. That's why Shanta used to live outside the village. So, but I have written this in initial. Why? Because please consider this fact. There is no caste system. Anyone can live inside or anyone can live outside. Anyone can live anywhere. These types of things are totally very much disappointing. Okay. So this was the concept for the caste system, that the lower caste people were not allowed to touch the higher caste. So they used to maintain a distance. So in order to maintain that distance, they used to live outside the village. Next, what happens? They belong to a group of people who cleaned, swept and served people who lived in the village. So those people who lived inside the village, their work was done by the people who used to live outside the village. And what type of work were done? You can see here the list is given. They used to clean, they used to sweep, they swept, okay, and they served. They cleaned, they swept, and they served. Okay, these types of things were done by the lower caste people who used to live outside the village. For whom? For those of the higher caste people who used to live inside the village. So this was the condition of Ayamkulam village, and Shanta belonged to this lower caste and lived outside the village. The inhabitants of the village, means those who lived inside the village, were either rich people who resided in big bungalows and owned big fields. So what did these people do? They were rich. They resided in big bungalows. And they owned fields. Okay, they were priests, or they used to work in temple. They were priests, or they used to work in temple. So this was the condition of the village, where the outside people used to do these things and inside people were like this. Okay. So this is the difference between the outside people and the inside people in Ayamkulam village. But in modern world, you are not going to differentiate anyone based on any of these things. Okay, this is totally disappointing. The village would feel when such conditions were prevailing, that they had to clean and they had to sweep and they had to do this sort of things for someone else just because their caste was different. So this was very, very disappointing for them. Okay. Next, Shanta heard the great temple bell ringing every day, but she had never been inside the temple. So Shanta, who represented who was of a low caste, had never been inside the village. So Shanta had never been inside the village. Why? Because she was of low caste. It does not represent Shanta alone, but every single girl, okay, who belongs from a low caste, they have been treated like this in that village, that they were not allowed to go inside the village, inside the temple. Inside the temple. Inside the village also there were certain restrictions. So inside the village there were restrictions and they were not allowed to go inside the temple. Okay. But she had never been inside the temple and she wasn't allowed to, nor were her parents allowed. Okay, the ayahs, the masters, and the ammas, the madams. Okay, so there were two type of peoples, ayahs and ammas. So Shanta's mother was Amma. Who was Shanta's mother? Amma, no S. But here I am talking about Ammas with a S. Okay, ayahs and Ammas were two types of people inside the village. They were the masters and they were the madams. Okay, so two types of people were there, and the village depended on them for taking care of their house and land. So the village depends on ayahs and Ammas for taking care of what? For taking care of their house and land. They were from inside the village, okay, and this was the outside village condition and this was the inside village condition. And next, what happens? Every morning Shanta's mother and other women would pick their way through prickly bushes and unpaved pebbly paths into the backyards of the house where they served. So every morning Shanta's mother and other village women would pick up their way through prickly bushes. So Shanta's mother and such women who belong from the low caste would go through prickly bushes. Prickly bushes means the bushes where there are thorns. where there are thorns. So prickly bush, they used to go through prickly bushes and pebbly paths. Pebbly paths. Pebbly paths is some place where there are full of pebbles, a path full of pebbles. Okay, so you know, this is the condition of the road from which the low caste people used to go to the high caste people's position. And why is there such type of road? Because the roads are underdeveloped, because no one cares that how people would go, how these low caste people would go from here to there. No one cares for them. So that's why those paths are not repaired, those bushes are not cut, and those low caste people used to go from that area in that manner. Okay, so this is the condition up till now, page number 34. In next lesson, what we will do? In next lecture, we will do page number 35.